Since the advent of Google Maps, paper-based maps for navigation have become a thing of the past. We use live location information for just about everything nowadays, from getting to A to B, to scouting the perfect Airbnb getaway. So why should your own data be viewed any differently? Esri's ArcGIS Field Apps allow you to digitally enable mobile workflows with location intelligence, so fieldwork can be completed faster, more efficiently, and with a better return on investment. When talking about field operations, we like to break the workflow down into phases, or a life cycle, from planning your assignment, to navigating there safely, visualizing and capturing location-based information, and then collating that information and acting upon your findings. As many of you will be aware, in the past there have been a number of different apps to fulfill these roles. However, with the recent addition of ArcGIS Field Maps to the suite, the functionalities of ArcGIS Explorer, Collector, and Tracker have been collated into one single application, with Workforce and Navigator set to join the fold in the future. Today, I'd like to focus on our 3 data capture apps, Field Maps, Quick Capture, and Survey 123, and run you through some of the latest additions to each. To kick us off, let's take a look at ArcGIS Field Maps. Field Maps is our map-centric data capture application, focused on allowing you to capture and edit high-accuracy location information on the go, whether you're working in an urban metropolis or out in the bush. Like many of our other field applications, Field Maps is also paired with a back-office web app, allowing you to configure data capture templates, offline areas, and sharing permissions. So without wasting any more time, let's take a look at the capabilities of ArcGIS Field Maps. For those of you who have used ArcGIS Explorer and Collector before, this interface should look very familiar to you. A gallery featuring all of your web maps shared with you from your ArcGIS Online organization. This includes both editable and view-only maps. Let's take a look at this map of hydrant locations in Wellington City. And today I'm going to play the role of a hydrant inspector. On the top right, I have access to handy features such as the base map switcher, measuring tools, markup, and more. But in this example, I'd like to focus on the new SmartForm capabilities with Field Maps. If I click on a hydrant, I can see the attribute information relating to my asset. And by clicking the Edit button, I can view the grouped fields I've set in the Field Maps web app. Under the Asset Information group, you can see I have a field named Asset Status. And previously, my asset was marked as in use. However, I found that the hydrant is in pretty poor shape, so I'm going to let the team know that it requires maintenance by changing the domain. By selecting this option, you'll see that a new field group has appeared asking me for additional info. And this is based on an arcade expression set within the Field Maps web app, which appears if required maintenance equals true. And lastly, I'll fill in some notes and hit submit. So there's a quick example of how you can view and edit location information in the field and improve the experience of data capture through the use of ArcGIS Field Maps' SmartForms. But I'd also like to remind you that the real-time tracking capabilities of ArcGIS Tracker are also bundled into the app, so you can keep your workers safe in the field at all times. Now let's move on to ArcGIS Quick Capture. Quick Capture provides a big button interface, allowing you to rapidly capture location information at the click of a button. This application is ideal for workflows where time is of the essence, or perhaps for individuals who aren't as tech savvy. Quick Capture has received a few significant updates in the past 6 months, from using the location of your photo for the captured record, to site scan integration. So let's take a look at some of these features in the mobile app. Here I have a quick capture form for identifying common New Zealand garden birds. But likewise, this could be surface inspections or perhaps search and rescue areas of interest. Before I launch into the form itself, I've set a project user list, allowing me to capture an extra level of information associated with my buttons. In this case, my conservation group name. As you can see, I have a number of buttons available which will capture my location, along with the name of an image of the bird I've sighted. As I scroll down, you can see I have a button to capture my live track location in the background also. And I also have buttons linking to external resources such as a species lookup and a feedback form. By clicking on the feedback form, I can launch a Survey123 form based on my location and pre-populate information like my conservation group. I'll just quickly fill this out with a rating and a comment, and then upon submission, I'll be returned to the Quick Capture app. One other outstanding new addition to ArcGIS Quick Capture is the ability to directly feed your geotagged photos into the Oriented Imagery web application, which is currently in beta. This allows you to essentially create your own Google Street View based on your images. Pretty neat, eh? The final application I'd like to talk about today is Survey123. Survey123 is a form-centric data capture app, which is location-aware and logic-driven, allowing you to capture detailed attribute information and tie that to a real-world location. Survey123 features a mobile app for data capture in the field, but it's also paired with a web and desktop designer for building your forms, depending on the complexity of the task at hand. However, one of Survey123's standout features is its out-of-the-box workflow automation tools, such as sending a text message when a form has been submitted through the use of webhook providers like Microsoft Power Automate or Integromat, or creating dynamic feature reports on the fly to document your inspections. Now, we won't go into these today, but I'd like to quickly run through what's new with each of the Survey123 apps. The Web Designer. Similar to Quick Capture, the Survey123 Web Designer now features a template gallery, helping you to get your feet off the ground if you're new to the application. You can now collaborate on web-based Survey123 forms, meaning you no longer need to transfer ownership for one minor tweak. However, the experience of transferring ownership has now been greatly simplified within the Web Designer also. And finally, late last year, a new question type was released, allowing you to rank choices in a list. Moving now to Survey123 Connect, the desktop builder. There are some new question types and configurations, including select one and select multiple from file, for instances where you would like to present a drop-down or list with options sourced from external CSV, max pixels, allowing you to limit the size of the image being captured within your form, and the compact N drop-down appearance, giving you control of how many options should be displayed. As you'll see on the video on the right, there's a new script tab located on the bottom panel, which allows the experts among us to extend their forms using JavaScript for advanced value calculations, data validation rules, and conditional logic. And there's one for those of you who aren't coders as well. You can configure dynamic thank you text to show your appreciation to the submitter. Sweet, so in a whirlwind, that's a handful of the new features within the ArcGIS Field apps. If any of the features I mentioned have caught your interest, I recommend checking out the ArcGIS Blogs website. And if you haven't done so already, I strongly recommend you migrate your existing workflows to ArcGIS Field Maps, simply by downloading the app. So I've looked at a number of the ways of capturing location-based information in the field. And now that we have all this data fed into a central source of truth, it's time to do something meaningful with our data and communicate our findings. And what better way to do so than with a focused web application? So as Lauren alluded to before, there's a web application for every occasion, from trusty old web app builder to the latest and greatest Experience Builder. But before we get onto that, let's take a look at what's new with the crowd favourite, ArcGIS Dashboards. Completing the monitoring phase of the Field Apps lifecycle, ArcGIS Dashboards allows you to surface hidden trends within your data, discover how the power of location influences your findings, and view key performance indicators at a glance, ultimately leading to better informed, data-driven decisions. This time last year, the ArcGIS Dashboards beta was released, introducing new features such as arcade-driven lists and indicators, and support for map symbology from the new JavaScript 4.x map viewer. Like the map viewer beta, in the upcoming ArcGIS Online update, the current application will be renamed to ArcGIS Dashboards Classic, with the beta functionality moving to general availability. So how will this affect your existing dashboards? Well, for the time being, your dashboards will continue to work as they are. However, I do encourage you to test them with the new ArcGIS Dashboards app, found in the ArcGIS Online app launcher, to take advantage of the latest functionality and to future-proof them. So let's take a look at some of the new features. Here we're looking at freshwater ecosystem samples gathered by community groups in the Auckland region. Selection-based priority allows me to guide the user experience of my dashboard, so users can easily reveal information about their area of interest. In this example, their sampling site locations. In order for my list to appear, I must first select my community group. This is an option within the Actions tab, and as I step through this demo, you'll see my dashboard progressively come to life. Arcade-driven list elements bring logic to my dashboard, in this case symbolizing my sample locations by the age of their last collection. If the sample is more than 12 months old, then the text and image is displayed in red to alert my group that a new sample is due to be collected. And as I mentioned previously, I can draw upon the rich symbology methods of the new JavaScript 4.x map viewer, such as symbolizing my samples using color ramp-driven points. So there are a few examples of how you can get more information out of your dashboards and provide your users with a more intuitive user interface. And speaking of intuitive UIs, I'd now like to pass over to Josh, who's going to give you an update on ArcGIS Experience Builder.
ArcGIS Experience Builder is Esri's next generation app builder. Built on version 4 of the JavaScript API, Experience Builder allows you to create 2D and 3D, map-centric and non-map-centric, responsive and multi-page applications. It truly is not just an app builder, but an experience builder. The first step to building an experience is selecting a template. You can either start with a blank canvas, with templates you may already be familiar with, or with a wide range of new templates such as the introduction template, showcasing your images with striking headlines, or the scenic template, a multi-page template allowing you to create a map-centered, multi-page narrative website. We can then modify the layout and the look and the feel of the app. At any point during the process, we can test what our app will look like to an end user by using the Live View button. Here we have an experience designed to help people prepare for a tsunami. We have a web scene showing an overview of Wellington, including 3D buildings and tsunami zone extents. And then we have some text telling people when they might need to evacuate due to a high tsunami risk. We have lots of widgets available to us to help build out our experience, including maps, map widgets, tables, lists, and the option to embed a Survey 123 form or another web page for access to further functionality. Let's add in a map that gives a 2D overview of the tsunami zones, including civil defence centres. And then we can set a trigger on this map that changes the scene viewpoint to match the map. We can also add in a feature info widget. This will give text information on the currently selected zone. To set the content of this widget, we need to set record selection changes to trigger the framework select data records action. This will allow us to show the selected zone in the 3D scene as well. We can test and customize what our app will look like on small, medium and large devices to create a responsive mobile-first user experience. We can continue to add content to our page and pages to our experience to turn it into a fully fledged information website. Here we've added a navigation menu with links to pages with more information about tsunami zones and shelf-sheltering places, and some styled text and images giving more information on how and when to evacuate. Finally, let's look at how we can use Experience Builder as part of a custom application. Here we have an early version of the work we are doing on Local Maps 3 using Experience Builder. Using the Experience Builder Developer Edition, we can combine out-of-the-box widgets with customized widgets that talk to APIs or add additional UI features, creating a complex application that can still be edited by a non-developer administrator. For example, we leverage Experience Builder themes to quickly customize the look and feel of our application. Another thing we could do is add in a map or an information banner with information we want to provide to our users directly from the gallery. Well, that was a quick overview of how Experience Builder works. We look forward to seeing how you use Experience Builder to create useful and user-friendly web applications.